Shanti, Shanti. Om. Om, O gods, may we hear what is auspicious with our ears. O ye who are worthy of worship, may we see with our eyes what is auspicious. With strong bodies and limbs, may we spend the rest of this life in adoring and pleasing the Lord. May all the gods bestow peace and joy upon us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. You want to give it to God? Put it there in the tray. Yeah, thank you. So our topic today is 10 steps of mind control. Listening the topic, you think that you will hear something new. But this is all you know. It will be repetition of the same old ideas. Actually, in our life, the major problem is that instead of mind being controlled by me, I am controlled by the mind. So there is the problem, and we know by controlling the mind or mastering, control is sometimes we don't like the word, but mastering the mind, by mastering the mind we can achieve whatever we like. Mind has the tremendous potential power. Mind has the power to unravel all the secrets of the world, and it can show us which is within us, which is in the outside world. So our problem in our spiritual life is that we are under the mind. Our senses touches the sense object, and the sense organs connect with that object, and mind immediately runs to support that, never inquiring whether I am seeing right thing, whether I am hearing right thing, am I feeling the right thing, because the mind is such, it is not clear, it is an unclear mind. That's why the mind is driving us into knots, as it were. Always it takes wherever it wants to take, and we are very happy with that, and after a long time we find, oh my God, when we start meditation, then we find, oh, this is the mind, how can I handle it anymore? It does not listen to me. Every day when we sit for meditation, look at our condition. We sit for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour. All of us try according to our best, no? Be honest to yourself. See how many moments mind has cooperated with us, and how many mind it has made a trickery with me. Just we try to start something, and by that fraction of a second, it runs away somewhere else. One great Swami, I will not say great or anybody, I am not judging, but one Swami recently was talking, he's a senior Swami. He said that no, my Guru has taught me to repeat 108 names of the Lord. And Guru has given me the mantra. So, but he's practicing maybe 60 years, 60, 65 years. He says, but the problem is that I cannot do even 108 japa even today. Meaning what he meant next he cleared, he said that I have to do 108 japa. Means during this 108 times I repetition of the name, my mind should not run anywhere. It should be engaged in the mantra and its meaning. But I do start, and after few, I watched my mind, it has gone somewhere else. So what I do? I start again from the beginning, because it is incomplete. Then again I start. So it takes long time even to complete 108 japa. So this is the state of affair. We cannot, it is not something external that we can just by a whip can change it in a day. We talk about this mastery of the mind, and it is a big topic everywhere when we talk about this. It's a fascinating subject also. The mastery of the mind or control over the mind is the key point in the journey to gain the spiritual illumination. Freedom, and that is the song of the soul. But we do not like to be controlled by anyone outside. But we fight with outside, we argue, we destroy our relationship when we feel controlled. But here, internally, we are controlled by the mind. What do I do with that? Do I part with myself and go somewhere else? We are very kind there. But we are very unkind to the outside. When little difference comes, we can fight there. Oh, this is control. This is losing my freedom. I don't care for this. I won't tolerate this. That's true. Good. Because freedom is the song of the soul. So we should be free and not to be bound by any dictate. But this mind is dictating all the time, and what about that? So, but when it comes to the context of mind, we become slave of our minds. We feel humiliated if someone bosses over us, but we are helpless when our mind bosses over us, controls us. And due to long indulgence given to the mind, it has become like a boss, whereas mind is not the boss. And mind is a terminology we used. It is not the mind only. Mind has its 4 faculties in which mind functions. And those 4 faculties we call in different names. One is mind, which vacillates, which becomes rippled, wavy all the time. One thought to the other thought, it jumps into that. And then there is the other aspect, the same mind functioning in another aspect we call the understanding or intellect, the function of the intellect. And then another function is the emotion, another is called the memory. So these 4 are a package, and that is the mind. And in each aspect we lose our own freedom there. Our emotions take over us, and we lose our reasoning. Our understanding is wrong. We are driven in another direction. Our suffering in life and pain and everything comes one after another because of that. My ego is another factor, which is mind in another form. The same mind in another form we call ego. So these are the factors where we always find that we are really troubled. We are troubled by all these factors of my own mind. Whereas all these faculties of my mind, it would have been helpful to me. It would have given us the highest realization. That's why mind is not only the scripture says, Manaiva manushyanang karanang bandhamakshaya. Mind is the cause of suffering, and mind is the cause of freedom. Mind is the cause of bondage. Mind is the cause of freedom. And that mind is not alone mind, but the question is that other factors or faculties, the mind acts in different roles in different ways. And all these faculties, it drains away our energy and makes us feel like we are helpless. Tool in the hand of the emotion, in the hand of my understanding, wrong, right. Right is good, but wrong understanding mostly. But because mind is not pure, mind is not clear, mind is not open to the truth. So we feel that way helpless, The 10 senses, the mind, intellect, ego, emotion and memory, all are driving us. We are all at their mercy, as it were. But the yoga scripture says that chitta vritti nirodha. We have read that. The vritti, the ripples of the mind, which is wavy all the time, drifting from one thought to the other, one wrong idea to another wrong idea. When it moves like that, how to master that? Nirodha means control, or how you can pacify that. Kathopanishad have declared that verse, you know, that when it describes the life comparing with a chariot, the 10 horses are connected with the rope, some in the hand of the driver. Driver is the intellect and holding the reins. The reins are the mind. Each mind is connected with every of the 10 horses. My eye horse, connected by the mind. Ear horse, that's also is a subtle connection. All held in the hand of buddhi. Unless the mind connects with the senses, no information goes to the intellect or our boss, higher boss inside. We don't feel anything. If the mind is disconnected to the hearing, I don't hear. If the mind is not connected with the eyes, we don't see. We don't feel the heat and cold. If the mind is disconnected, the doctors are operating. If they disconnect the mind from the body, so no sensation goes and we don't feel anything. We think we are happy. But when we come back from the operation, then we feel the suffering, no? So this question is that this is the way the mind acts a tremendous role into our whole life. So Kathopanishad says, you know that Atman, that is the self who is riding in the car, and the senses are all that type of horses, and they are being connected with the mind, and mind is held in the hand of buddhi. But those people who are abhigyanavan, who does not know this truth, that the Atman is the rider and I am the boss. The car drive is driven according to your wish. Car should not drive you, rather you drive the car. So similarly, this body-mind should be for my benefit, where I want to put my destination. And then this car should help me to move that. Instead, this car, this body, this mind complex, body-mind, intellect complex, has just taken possession of it. Therefore, it says that just to be jnanavan bhavati, he who Kathopanishad says, that those who are become aware where my mind is going. And yuktina manasasaha, he connects that understanding, where my understanding is leading to, where my mind is driving me, and whose senses are controlled in the hand of the mind. They are like in the right hand, and sa tatpadamapnoti, they attain to that state of liberation, the highest state of realization of the truth. And they don't come back to the cycle of birth and death. So now, under these circumstances, what can be done to reach freedom? That is the point. Now, we read always now the samadhi. We talk about ecstasy. We talk about high spiritual illumination, transporting from the mundane to the divine. These are very alluring ideas. They are very top inspiration to move into life towards this direction. But the question is that what can be done? What can be done for reaching this eternal freedom which is within? That is not talking about this illumination, but the basic question, where shall we start? Swami Vivekananda said in one place, after describing much in the Raja Yoga, That book you have all read probably, volume 1, or you can have the Raja Yoga book. There you find that there are seats where you are going. Empty seats are there. So, Swami Vivekananda said that when you talk about these higher goals of life, freedom, or establishing ourselves in our divine heritage, that Satchidananda aspect, we are divine, I am infinite, I am birthless, deathless. These are very high sounding words, very good, either in Vedantic topic or in the terminology of your Raja Yoga. These are also beautiful words. Kaivallam, you attain that Kevalat, onlyness. In Buddhism we call nirvana, a state of perfect calmness and serenity. We can talk about in yogic term, samadhi, savikalpo, nirvikalpo, savicharo, nirvicharo. This is a very nice inspirational ideas. But talking so high is difficult. It is easy to listen, easy to talk about, but we must have to have the capacity to reach that flight. So what to do? Swami Vivekananda says that yes, that by the practice of different parts of yoga, in the yoga he is talking about Raja Yoga, the impurity is being destroyed, knowledge becomes self-effulgent, which is the culmination of all the discernment. Now comes the question of practical knowledge. What we have just been speaking, as Swami Vivekananda continues, about is much higher. It is away above our head, but it is the ideal. It is first necessary to obtain physical and mental control. Then the realization will become steady in that ideal. The ideal being known, what remains is to practice the method of reaching it. We talk of the ideal too much, but our practice is less. That's why spiritual life is practice more rather than talk less. Talking about the goal is good, it is inspirational, and we should have talk, but not only end there, rather than come to the basic point where we start. So Patanjali gave us the direction to start with a very basic point, where we stand. You know, as we said always, I just mentioned that we talk about samadhi. Now Ramakrishna's gospel has made it much more easy language. Samadhi, samadhi, samadhi. When Ramakrishna gospel you read few pages, he is going to ecstasy. And his body is almost like a dead body. It is all, but it's full of bliss. So we think that it is so easy a thing to be achieved. It in one lifetime, if one gets one, then you think that you are one among the thousands and hundreds and millions maybe. Gita suggests, no? Manushyanang sahasreshu. Even thousands and thousands of people, kaschid yatati siddhai. Some, a few, can only struggle to achieve this flight. Yatatam abhisiddhanam. And those who are sincerely struggling and practicing, kaschit, rarely, a few, one or two, vetti tattvata, they know in reality who I am. That means what is the truth, only they know. So the spiritual superstructure, if we find a big high-rise building looks very nice, no? In every downtown we go, in any state of this, in this country, you see the high-rise building. And these are nice, But high-rise buildings should have a strong foundation. And the foundational thing we have to pay attention rather than looking at the superstructure. That may be kept in our view, but this emphasis should be given where we stand. So, I was thinking that meditation process has been already, Raja Yoga has enough discussion there, but the preparation to that, if we can pay attention to that, it is called as much attention is to be given towards the goal, more attention is to be given to the path in the journey. Driving is to be given full attention rather than not only mentally imagining, I am going to reach San Luis Obispo, I am going to reach this beautiful Solano beach or this and that. You can talk about that, think about that, that's a good idea. But the driving is more important. And driving is a hassle. Because driving is a hassle, because you may do mistake, someone may do mistake, and then collision may come, fire may come, your cop may come and give a ticket, and then you may be pulled down, pulled out, and this and that. So many factors are there. So therefore, pay attention to the means, Swami Vivekananda's word. Pay attention to the means. The end will take care of itself. First you know the goal. The goal of life is realization of the truth. Goal of ideal is to know who we are in whatever language, in yogic language, bhakti language, your language of the Shunyavada, Purnavada, whatever, Ajatavada, this Vada, there is no end of philosophies. But whatever may be the ultimate truth, it is to be first absorbed into our head, that's my goal. And then Swami Vivekananda said, forget about the goal. Now start driving. Pay attention to the means and means and means. So Patanjali, as you have all read, and nothing new that I am saying, that you may think that why I am taking this time of yours to talk about these very basic things. The basic thing is that, Patanjali suggested yama niyama, eightfold means of realizing the truth. Yama and niyama are the first two. Then comes the asana. Asana, now yoga has become so popular. Everyone does yoga probably, You can say there are so many magazines come and you see ocean yoga, temple, what you call the mountain yoga, the yoga in the woods, yoga in the everywhere yoga. But yoga is good, but it is the third stage of our journey into the spirit, according to Patanjali. But before that even practicing yoga, before our great psychologist of the world, Patanjali, he has given that stage of yama, niyama. There's the first and second. And then asana, yama, niyama, asana. Then comes pranayama. Then comes pratyahara, withdrawing the mind. Then comes dhyana. You see, we all sit for dhyana in the 6th level. We just jump into the 6th floor. But we have to start from floor, step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 steps we always miss. I don't think that we are really jumping into the dhyana. Dhyana is dependent on these preliminaries. That's why preliminary attention to this primary focus should be given to this yama, niyama, and then asana, of course, good health. Swami Vivekananda said, we need muscles of iron. And what he says? Nerves of steel. And in that, there will be a mind which will be soft like that of a flower and strong like that of a thunderbolt. See, what an ideal condition is necessary for God realization. Strong mind, strong body, yes, asana necessary. Control of the mind, control of the body. But behind that, at the very beginning, because we live in the world and we have to have a control start from every breath. We should have to master the mind, we call control the mind, but controlling the mind can be started at the very beginning of our very day-to-day living. And Patanjali was so kind that he paid attention to that aspect. That's why he focused on yama and niyama. So, and by this process of yama and niyama, Swamiji said that our character can be built. Here, character building means a perfect, controlled personality. A personality who has the perfect control in his own hand, not in the hand of others. So that is a mind, strong mind, sound body, sound mind, sound intellect, and the inner urge to move towards the goal. These are the characteristics. So it is this type of Swami Vivekananda's emphasis of man making, character building is my mission. He said that is the mission. And that without that foundation, without that very strong foundation, the spiritual superstructure crumbles down. Therefore we find that even people have tremendous growth and sudden failure comes because this scientific path of paying attention to the day-to-day living is not given enough attention. So mind, how this yama, and you know yama and niyama, you know, yama is ahimsa, very fundamental point, non-injury, ahimsa, satya, truthfulness, asteya, non-stealing, brahmacharya, celibacy or purity of the mind, aparigraha, not accepting or desiring for receiving gifts all the time. Mind will be expecting. And niyama, you know, saucha, the purification of the body and the mind, santosh, containment of the mind, tapa, austerity or penance in life, shraddhaya, study of the scriptures and listening to something to explore, who am I? And Ishvara Pranidhana, surrender to God. So 10 factors has been given, and we like to emphasize each one, how we can benefit out of it, how it can really help us, our mind control, what it has to do with our mind control. That we have to link these two sides of it. Suppose ahimsa. So we need this twofold method. What is the twofold? To master our mind. One is the indirectly watching the activities and the inclinations of our thoughts and mind that we do when you sit for meditation. Mind goes here and there. Observe, where does it go? Why it is going? Where is the anchor? Why my mind runs towards that? That is the process of meditation when you go later on. That is the direct watch. Observe your mind. But another process is that let mind go there and focus on God, focus on God, focus on God. So two methods, as I said, one is the indirect method, indirectly watching our everyday's activities, everyday's behavior, and how we are interacting and facing the challenges of life, how we can keep our integrity of character and build up our spiritual muscles from there. A self-control, a mind is being controlled there itself. How we can utilize these 10 steps what given by Patanjali, and we see how, if we take any one, even one, we find that how our mind is being controlled unconsciously. That's why I am giving the term, it is indirect control. You are not telling my mind, hey, come here, I want to think of God. And then mind runs. Well, come back here. Again. You fight all the time. This is the directly handling the mind and directly trying to master the mind. But this is another way. You don't tell anything to the mind, but only place these values. What is called? That these are the 10 values. To try to remember that. And when we try to remember them, automatically mind will have to be curtailed in its movement. No? It will have to come back to some senses. So, the mind is indirectly controlled to start with by following these very first 2 steps of the path of Patanjali. And it says these Patanjali, even after describing these 2 formulas of 5 and 5, yama and niyama, he said that this practice is not restricted to any person, any country, any time, any nation, any what you call class. In India there was the caste system. So that it does not matter which phase of life you are. Whether you are a Nobel laureate or a person who does not have any opportunity to go to school, matters little. These are, they said, ete sarvabhauma mahabratam. These are mahabrata, great virtues to be observed by one and all, irrespective of any person, any country, any nation, any distinction of time, space even. So, these 2 processes, so we will pay attention to the indirect process as we are going through these 2 stages of 10. So here, mind becomes pure when its mind is calm and controlled, not any ripple. Before moving to the direct methodology, that will be the Raja Yoga study, we practice indirect way, and there comes daily way of our living the life, building a noble character, practicing these virtues of yama and niyama. And what happens? Swami Vivekananda said, if you can practice every day these 2, in his complete works he has mentioned, following Patanjali's suggestion, he says, Patanjali says, ashuddhi kshaye jnanodipti. When ashuddhi, imperfection, or the dirt and dust of or the clouds of the mind will be clean, ashuddhi kshaya, when it is erased, when it is purified, then jnanodipti, the knowledge, will just spark in its own effulgence. You don't need to think of anything, it will come spontaneous. So much is the value of all these, and there, which leads to the final result of samadhi, which is the destruction of the mind even, which the Patanjali said, and that state of position, the witness who is practicing, he is established in his own divine glory. Now, to build this superstructure of the spiritual edifice, this lofty state of Kaivalya, or this Brahmajnana, we need to start with this fundamental point as I have talked. So now let us point out to one point, ahimsa. Yama has the 5 practices. Yama means control. See, yama word means control. Yama also in Sanskrit or Bengali or Hindi, they will say the god of death. What god of death does? He controls everything, no? The whole world is frightened. We are all afraid of death. And death controls everything, no? So we don't want to die. So that's why yama. He had ultimate control. So here yama, his first phase is ahimsa. Whole of Buddhism stands on this one word, ahimsa, is it not? Mahatma Gandhi, his whole life's glory stands on 2 things, truthfulness and ahimsa. Ahimsa, non-injury. It is called non-violence. It's a stronger word. Violent is strong. Non-violent is peaceful person. Next little toned down word is non-injury. You don't want to injure. You don't want to injure even an amoebic cell, if it is not necessary. Yeah, two things there. Ahimsa has been misunderstood many places. Ahimsa does not mean that you will die. Because your survival needs to kill somebody. You are breathing in. Are you not killing so many bacteria? So what shall you do? That's why the Ahimsa went to that degree when joints they try. It's a philosophical idea is there, and also protection, so that I don't even inadvertently kill anybody. That's why they walk this floor, they will clean the floor before they walk, lest they trample over somebody. But the question is that your survival needs certain thing, that is not called himsa. That is not injuring. You eat something, naturally we all eat. You may say, you eat meat, I